Laker fans, welcome to another preview video. Lakers at Boston. I mean, what else do you got to say? One of the, in my opinion, the greatest rivalry in sports. I am so excited for this game on Saturday night. Luka's first game as a Los Angeles Laker playing the Boston Celtics. Going to be electric. And I know ESPN and ABC are just out of their mind that they had this game already scheduled. Lakers Celtics already is amazing. And then you add Luka to the equation. It's going to be electric on Saturday night. We're going to get to that in a second. First, we got to talk about that Knicks victory the other night, a Thursday night. Huge performance from the Lakers. Allen hit on something on the postgame show that I really agreed with, in the sense that that was one of the most important wins of the season, especially looking forward for the playoffs. Because you look at the Nuggets game before that, I think was probably that or the Celtics, but really the Nuggets was the biggest win of the year so far, because you get over that mental hurdle of finally beating Denver. I mean, Denver had won 13 of 14 games against the Lakers, and as we've talked about ad nauseum, excruciating losses. Lakers leading by double digits in the fourth quarter and blowing these games, and the Denver really owning the Lakers in Luka coming to town and really flipping the script in having a comfortable lead for a lot of that game and not relinquishing it was huge. But this game, I thought, showed a little bit different side of the Lakers. Things weren't going well for the Lakers. They, at one point, Jalen Brunson in the third quarter hit a tough shot over the middle, mid-range jumper, kind of layup, and they were up 73-59, 14-point deficit for the Lakers, and the Lakers really buckled down. This was a night where it wasn't going super smoothly. The offense wasn't getting whatever they wanted, which had been for a lot of this winning streak, a lot of this 8-game winning streak. The previous 7, the Lakers really had not had a lot of problems offensively. And in this game, the first half was really sluggish. The third quarter was really sluggish. And then Dalton Connect hitting that 3 at the end of the third quarter was huge. And then just buckling down the fourth quarter. And, I mean, what do you say about Luka and LeBron? Luka with 32, LeBron with 31. Unbelievable. I thought Gabe Vincent and Dalton Connect both had big games with 12 and 11 points. Added some big shots there and just kind of really buckled down team defense. I didn't think they played that bad of defense throughout the game. They just couldn't make any shots. Credit to Tibbs and the Knicks. They always have a tough defensive system, but huge performance in the Lakers, and then him taking over in overtime. So big win, but now you're looking on to the one that everyone wants to talk about. Lakers in Boston. As I mentioned, Luka's first time as a Laker playing the Celtics. He's very familiar with this team. Last year, he lost to this team in the NBA Finals as a member of the Dallas Mavericks, but he showed out in that series. It certainly was not his fault. They were just overmatched. The Celtics team is really good. Looking at the injury report before we get into the kind of nuances of the game, on the Lakers side of things, Luka and LeBron are both probable, so they're going to go. They ain't missing a game like this. Jackson Hayes is questionable with a right knee contusion. This is something the Lakers got to watch. Hopefully he can go, because they do have a really good front court in some serious size down there. And it looks like they're going to be getting a few members of them back. Rui and Kleber is out, but it looks like Jordan Goodwin will be back for the Lakers, which is awesome. That's this Celtic team is very deep. You're going to need as many guys as possible. And Goodwin had been playing some good ball recently before he got hurt. On the Celtics side of things, Porzingis is questionable. He's a game-time decision. But he actually confirmed on Instagram to like a fan in his comment section that he's going to be playing. So unless Boston's training staff says, no, you're not, it looks like he's going to be playing. And he had just been sick, so I'm sure he's ready to go. Jrue Holiday's been dealing with a mallet finger and is questionable for the game. He's missed the previous 4. And Sam Hauser twisted his ankle on Wednesday against Portland, but looks like he's going to play. It doesn't look like that was too serious. So they're expecting to be fully ready to go. They're kind of in this running joke where every player, lines up to play the Lakers, whether they're hurt or not. Jaylen Brown's missed a couple games the past week, and Porzingis and all these guys. And of course they're going to be active for Saturday night, but that's the way the Lakers want it. We want everyone healthy so we can beat this team in Boston, show all the media what's up. But looking at the Celtics specifically, they are riding a 3-game win streak coming into this game, wins over Philly, Portland, and Denver. But before that, they actually had a two-game stretch that was pretty rough. They had a huge lead on the Cavs, 23-point lead in Boston, blew that game, ended up losing by 7. And then the Pistons, they went to Detroit, and the Pistons really just took it to them. They beat them pretty bad and led for most of that game. So there are some cracks in the armor a little bit. Looking at the team overall, they're 117 points per game, which is good for about 6 overall. Rebounding per game, 45, 10th overall. And then opposing points per game, they hold opponents to 108 points per game. That is good for third overall. In assists per game, they're actually more middle of the pack. They're 17th overall with about 26 a game. Makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of talent on this team, and there's a lot of iso ball at times, kind of Tatum and Brown taking over. So it makes sense why they don't share the rock as much. This team shoots threes at an extremely high clip. That's kind of the number one thing about them. They average about 48 threes a game, which is one of the most in the NBA. And to the caveat of that, they're actually only take about 20 free throws per game. It's actually 19.8 on the average. That's the second least in the NBA, only to Chicago. So we saw this in the last time the Lakers played them. They couldn't hit shots. The Lakers were making them hit shots, and they couldn't. And they're not good at driving in and getting foul calls because they're so used to jacking it up from the outside. And when it's hitting and they're on fire, it's very pretty. And they're kind of like the old Golden State Warriors where they can come back at any point because they can hit three so fast and get back into a game. But when they're cold, they go cold. And I think that's kind of an underrated part about this team. Looking specifically at them, who's going to be playing the starting five, Jason Tatum. He leads the team. This actually surprised me in points per game, rebounds per game, and assists per game. 27 points per game, 9 rebounds a game, and 6 assists per game. Kind of surprised. Jaylen Brown's second in most of those categories. He's another excellent player, excellent defender, Jaylen Brown. So I'm sure he'll be running with a Luka all night. Derek White, he had 41 the other night. Against Portland, they dropped Pritchard at 43 and Derek White at 41. So this team is very deep, as I was mentioning. Looks like they're going to get Porzingis back. And Sam Hauser kind of rounds out. He plays a small forward spot. He rounds out the starting five. And then off the bench, Peyton Pritchard's probably going to win sixth man of the year. As I just said, he dropped 43 the other night against Portland. Luke Cornett is the backup center. He's probably going to get less run in this game because Horford will probably be backing up Porzingis now that he's back. But Cornett was getting a lot of run when Porzingis was hurt. And then they were kind of playing a couple random guys like Shireman got some minutes because guys were hurt. Drew Peterson out of USC got some run, but I bet they shortened the rotation for this game against the Lakers considering how big it is. I can't wait for this one. This game specifically, I hope Jackson Hayes can go because that is a problem if he can't. You saw it against the Knicks the other night. LeBron absolutely took Karl-Anthony Towns out of the game and held him to 3 of 13 shooting. You don't want to have to be relying, though, on LeBron to guard a Porzingis or Cornett and some of these guys because you don't want LeBron to get in foul trouble. That's a kind of a spot thing to do where it's like, hey, for a couple minutes, we're going to switch LeBron onto Karl-Anthony Towns or a Porzingis or someone like that. But that's not really sustainable all game because, again, you don't want them just dumping it down, trying to draw foul calls the entire time. This one's going to be fun. An interesting fact about the Lakers, I thought, but this is per ESPN. Before January 15th, only 5 teams were allowing a higher percentage of 2-point attempts versus threes this season. And then those numbers since January 15th have flipped for the Lakers. Now only 3 teams are giving up fewer 2-point shots per game. So this is kind of a strength on strength. The JJ Redick system has been pack it in, even though the Lakers don't have maybe the size you would think for a team that could pack it in. Pack it in. Don't give up easy layups. Don't let bigs go off and make teams hit shots. Make them have to not go on mini runs and hit shots, but make shots the entire game. You'd think that the Celtics would like that because they just want to shoot threes the whole time. But then again, you look back at that Dallas series last year in the playoffs, it was really Porzingis and some of those guys that killed them because they just didn't really have any answers inside. The Lakers are hoping to take that away. Jackson Hayes, hopefully he will be playing. Jemison got a lot of run the other night. He was 3 of 4. Not the best game, but he's going to have to play, especially if Jackson Hayes is out. He's going to need to eat up some foul calls. This one's going to be fun. I'm so excited for this game. I'm like giddy for this game. Can't wait for it. Lakers hopefully going for their 9th straight win and just playing excellent basketball. I don't really know what else to say. They're just playing excellent offensively, defensively. They've been number 1 in the NBA defensive efficiency since mid-January, that January 15th. And they're just one of the hottest teams in the NBA. And no matter how much the media wants to keep kind of doubting the Lakers and going, well, they don't have size and, you know, this defense is going to run out, all this stuff. They're doing it against great teams. They're doing it against elite, above 500 teams. So they're 9-0 in their last 9 games against teams above 500. So this is not like they're doing this to a bunch of bad, mediocre teams in Charlotte and Portland and Washington. Ironically, you know, Charlotte, the last loss the Lakers had, and the Jazz. The Lakers haven't been playing as well against the bad teams, but this one's going to be electric, and can't wait for it. Alan's going to get you guys on the post-game show. Can't wait for it. Hopefully, as always, we're talking about a Laker W, and I'll get you guys back for the previews going on next week. So appreciate everybody for tuning in, and go Lakers.